Hello everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm reviewing Ground Zero Texas Nuclear Edition. Don't be fooled by the footage you're watching. This is not a repeat episode of Walker Texas Ranger. This is actually from an old game that was originally released all the way back in 1993 by Digital Pictures for the ill-fated Sega-Cd system. Digital Pictures was well known for making full-motion video games back in the day. I think they made Sewer Shark, Crypt Killer, and the one they were most notoriously known for was making Night Trap, which actually led to the ratings board to actually being formed up there along with Mortal Kombat. Now, it has finally received a remaster as of March 23rd, 2021 by a group known as Screaming Villains. They both developed and published it, and will cost you $19.95, $20 for this, flash from the past style game. Honestly, this is a very unique title that I have to let you know. It consists of over 110 minutes of footage that was directed and filmed by Dwight H. Little. He's known for doing movies of Marked for Death and also Halloween 4, and the script was actually written by Ned Neumenheider, if I said it right. He was known for doing the script for RoboCop. Now, what exactly is Ground Zero Texas? Well, very similar to the old original 1993 version. This is way better because the old version consisted of like a little 4-inch pixelated screen of footage that was so compressed you couldn't see anything. They did a brilliant job in remastering this with almost a full screen aspect, and you just move your little your cursor around and you can vaguely interact with things. It's mostly watching videos, and when enemies appear at a certain time, you'll see like a red mark appear around them, and you have to sort of move near them and press the button to interact with them. It consists of a normal and a hard mode. The R1 trigger button is what you use to shoot. You can also get shields, but it doesn't really matter. At certain points in this quote game, as you see in the bottom corner of the screen, you'll have certain areas that will highlight stating that there are enemies there. You can switch to them by pressing the corresponding button, and it just switches to the different video that's being played. Most of the time, if it's not supposed to actually have any action going on, it's like looping video of something and nothing's going on. But if it is, then you'll get these like really, honestly, for the time, they were very well done, but by today's standards, it just comes off as like a low-budget Stargate that you would see on the Sci-Fi Network. And honestly, what is the plot behind Ground Zero Texas? Well, you are a guy sent in as a last-ditch hope effort of America to save mankind from these aliens that are doppelgangers that are taking on the forms of humans in a small town of El Cadron on the Texas border. And what you do is you go in and you use your little cursor to move around and try to shoot the enemies that pop up on screen while avoiding good people. If you've ever played a classic light gun shooter game of the classic days of yore, like Mad Dog McCree, it kind of plays like that, but it does have somewhat of a more branching ability to it, with your ability to switch between the different cameras at any time. It does give you the ability to feel sort of like a game, but the way it is, it's highly scripted based on time. So if you're not in the right place at the wrong time, you won't get to see the scenes that you need to do. Now, as you progress through, I believe it's a 4-act series of videos, you'll get different clues and stuff to help you along the way. The first couple acts set up the ability to try to get a randomized passcode, which will be said by one of the voice actors in the game as you defeat one of the enemies. It is randomized, which I do appreciate, so it does add a little bit of replayability to it. But once you get the code, you'll go into an area, find the aliens, and from that point on, they go around blowing up the town, which I find hilarious because half the time they blow themselves up, and it's just really like I said, when I'm not saying this from the heart, I mean it. This reminds you of watching a low-budget sci-fi movie in terms of just the overall corniness of it. The acting isn't bad, but this comes from a time where they didn't quite know how to loop the video footage, so it plays like a Mad Dog McCree set in a Texas Western style town with these people that are supposed to be aliens. And as you get far enough along, they do turn into the aliens, and then you're like, oh wow, look at the nice cheap foam rubber suits and motorcycle masks that's been modified with their fake foam rubber guns that they're shooting at you with. But it does have a good charm to it. In fact, out of all the full motion video games I played from the back in the days of Sega-Cd, this one actually ranks up there as one of my more favorite ones, next to Crypt Killer, or I think that's what it's called, is Crypt Killer. Honestly, and I think after Crypt Killer, the company Digital Pictures went bankrupt, which was kind of a shame because they spent too much money making the damn full motion video movies than they did actually turning them into actual functioning games. Now, as you play this, quote, game, like I said, one button is what you use to shoot the aliens, while another button brings up a really crappy shield. And the one thing you'll notice is even though they'll have like a red reticle around the quote aliens or bad guys to shoot, you don't even necessarily have to be anywhere near them to actually hit them. It seems to be about a quick draw. As long as you're near them and you hit the trigger button, you'll tend to shoot and kill them pretty easily. Now, as you progress, what you want to do is not get hit too many times, because as you do, your, quote, camera will malfunction, and at that point it will pixelate and you won't be able to see to get any farther, and it will end and restart with the guy yelling at you. It does have some really unique charm to it in terms of just how corny it is. Honestly, like I said, it reminds me of a cross between an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger and one of classic MacGyver's, or even like a Fall Guy episode, or even Dukes of Hazzard in terms of the overall acting, the cinematography, and everything about it. And the fact of what they did, Screaming Villains did an excellent job in remastering this. The footage is really well done. It is vibrant. It is quite beautiful. And compared, if you ever played the original Sega-Cd version, you'll know how pixelated and choppy and small it was on screen. Like I said, it was like 4 inches square on your screen is what you see in the video footage of. And the rest was all just like crappy blank screen background stuff. Because at the time, the Sega-Cd could not handle full screen video, but it was still a very ambitious project for its time. And like I said, it's not a good game. It doesn't play well. It's corny. The only thing I can say is the visual resolution they have of the footage of them remastering it is brilliant. It looks beautiful, like the way that I think they originally planned this game, quote, full motion video game to look back in the day. And like I said, it is functional. It plays quite well. I didn't have any issues with it other than the fact, like I said earlier, that you don't really even have to be close to an enemy to shoot to actually kill them. When you turn it up on the harder difficulty, you got to get closer, almost right into the red squares, which makes it more difficult. But other than that, there's really no difficulty to this other than not shooting the bad guys and getting through the 4-act section of this full motion video game to kill these aliens and save mankind. Honestly, if you like light gun games, keep in mind this does not use any sort of peripherals. It does force you to use your controller to move your analog stick around to move the cursor on screen to shoot. But this actually was how the original game was played. The original game did not use a light gun, which was kind of a shame because I think most of their shooting games never really used a peripheral, which would have really helped with the game. But in the end, I can honestly say if you like old classic corny cheesy games and you don't mind spending $20 on something that is a total blast from the past, at least to check out how they improved this in terms of the visual resolution, the dialogue, and how the sound effects are, I can actually say if you want to get a little bit of nostalgia of just how far games have come in terms of using full motion video, I can definitely say if you have a chance chance and you're willing to spend $20, go ahead and pick up Ground Zero Texas Nuclear Edition today. They do add some neat alternative scenes, some deleted scenes to it in the remastered game. It does add a little bit to it, but unless you're like me and you're an old school gamer that played this back in the day, you're probably not going to remember any of this, and you're probably going to scratch your head going, what in the hell is this? This isn't really even a game. It's almost like a point and click shooter. That's really what it is while you watch movie footage that constantly loops, very poorly I might add. But in the end, it brought back some good old memories from me playing it back in the day. And like I said, if you're an old school gamer and you remember the Sega-Cd and you remember this on the Sega-CD in 93, I can definitely say it's worth $20 to go ahead and pick it up for some good old nostalgia. And, in the end, it's still actually kind of fun to somewhat play, as they call it. But yeah, I can actually recommend it. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below if you've ever played Ground Zero Texas back from 1993, or you plan on playing the Nuclear Edition with the added scenes. Make sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos on my channel. Make sure to hit that like icon, subscribe, and remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.